In this video, I'm going to teach you how you can become richer than your wildest imagination. And if you're in the United States and you're an average American, I'm confident that I can make you a millionaire. So let me explain you how. It all comes from this thing called the index fund, the greatest financial invention that has ever been made. Now you're asking me, what is an index fund? An index fund is a group of stocks you get to buy for one price. So essentially, you get to have 500 stocks or 1,000 stocks, but you only pay once and you get all those stocks for a price of one. Now, they seem pretty simple, but they work extremely well because of something called compound interest. I'm not sure if you've taken a math class or heard about compound interest, but Albert Einstein called it the most powerful force in the universe. It's this thing that essentially it's like the snowball effect. So the more you have, the faster it grows. And the faster it grows, the more you have. It's like that network effect you're always hearing about. And let me illustrate that for you financially. If you put $100 away, just $100 every month, okay? And you compound that at 15% a year. In 40 years, at the end of your career, you will have $2.4 million. So off just $100 a month, you now have 2.4 million. Now that's insane because I have a friend of mine who puts away $1,000 a month and he's a manager in and out. And he's young, he's 18. So by the time he hits 65 at a 15% compound rate, he'll have $25 million off of working at In and Out. And another amazing thing about an index fund, you pay almost no taxes on those profits. There's something in America called capital gains tax. It's this thing that you pay way lower taxes on your investments than you do in actual income. So income tax in America is capped at 36%, but capital gains tax is capped at 15%. Insane, right? So essentially, you will pay way lower taxes than you usually do on your income based on this investment. Another amazing thing about index funds is you don't have to work. You don't have to work at all. You put your $100 a month in an index fund, preferably through a retirement account, and you forget about it. You never have to look into it. You never sell it. You never work. You never trade. You just leave it there and you let it make you crazy amounts of money. Another crazy thing about index funds, they beat 95% of professionals. If you know about investments, I'm sure you've heard about mutual funds, hedge funds, in all these things, and index funds beat them 95% of the time. Isn't that weird? All these professionals and these 200 IQ geniuses who work all day to beat index funds, 95% of the time, they'll lose. So you can beat them by just buying an index fund. Another thing that isn't that crazy, but I think is amazing, is that most of them are free. They don't charge you fees to buy them. A lot of them, like Fidelity's fund, is actually feeless, so you pay nothing for the ability to get that index fund. It's pretty insane to me. When do you get this kind of free money? But another amazing thing about index funds is just let that sink in. Imagine somebody comes to you and says, I'm going to give you the highest paying job you've ever had in your life. You're not going to have to pay barely any taxes. You're not going to have to work at all. You can just sit back and relax. And even more amazing, you're going to beat 95% of the people in that industry. That's what an index fund is. So, what should you do to take advantage of index funds? What I do and what I suggest other people do is you buy into something called a growth fund. Growth funds are essentially investors into growth companies. A good example is something called the S&P 500 Growth Fund. The S&P 500 is the most famous index fund, and their growth fund has averaged over 15% in the last 10 years, which is an insane amount of money. You can invest in that. That's actually what I invest into. You should do it through a retirement account. This way you can compound without ever paying taxes until you take the money out. And that's pretty impressive. That's what I do. I put everything into a Roth or a 401k or whatever you have. And remember, don't put it in all at once. You want to make sure that you don't get the highest price ever. So just put it in monthly, your $100 or $1,000, and make sure, this is key, make sure that you invest as much as possible, because that stuff, every little dollar can turn into hundreds of dollars in the future through the power of an index fund. So honestly, I think I can make any American a millionaire if they just invest into index funds, and you can solidify one of the greatest financial fortunes you've ever seen by just investing in these things. So good luck out there, guys, and please watch my next video. Thanks.